Okay, now it's time to catch up with Cavalex. First of all, Cav, and then Alex. So it's a bit like Ant and Dec, that we're going to have to put them in the right order on the street. You know.
Yeah.
So there we go. We've got Cav, got Alex. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. Now a bit of a catch up and update on the numerous projects that you've actually got on the go at the moment. And I've got to say that your BBA wagon of last year was one of my favourite wagons. I thought it was an absolutely stunning job on that. And you've got obviously more on the way relatively soon of those.
Yes, we have. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we were delighted with how it turned out and how well it was received, weren't we, Cav?
Yeah, it was received so well by the general public and new guys reviewing them and whatever. We couldn't have been happier, really. There was a few little things that need addressing probably in the next run, but other than that, we're absolutely like over the moon with the reception that those wagons got.
Yeah, I mean, talking about the next one, we've got the second run is currently in production, and we've made a few little tweaks, improvements, following feedback we had from people. And like yourself, for example, an issue that everyone picked up on, which we weren't overly pleased about, was the mold line on the buffer heads of the round version.
Yeah.
So we've just made a few tweaks, improvements, which will be coming on the second run when they turn up, and some new liveries as well, which we're really pleased to be offering bauxite for those that want them as built. And then EWS was another popular one, and then obviously the rail freight was by far the most popular livery.
For me, the biggest improvement is those 1970s bauxite options, and you've got several different numbers of those coming through as well. So yeah, you're going to make me happy at least. So that's all right.
We
so,
like that.
Yeah. So when are they likely to be landing?
We're hoping, subject to COVID and shipping, they'll be here at the end of the year.
Yeah, okay. They're currently in manufacture as we speak, so it's a case of getting those finished off, boxed up, and then over as soon as they can get them on a shipment, really. So that's imminent.
Well, I did a bit of fingers crossed there, but I mean, it's a relevant thing to say that obviously shipping issues at the moment are likely to probably get worse before they get better, with everybody wanting their toys for Christmas and so on. So how do you see things shaping up over the next few months?
That's a difficult one. I mean, it is, as I'm sure a lot of companies, not just in the model railway industry, but manufacturers have seen across all industries, that the COVID issue is still having an effect and an impact, not only on shipping, but on manufacturing, logistics, materials, supplies, and we've just got to cross our fingers and hope that we can get them here as soon as possible. But that's obviously out of our control, and it's the same for everyone. But hopefully, I know if you read in the papers and the media, they're saying shipping will improve, next year. Fingers crossed it does. But unfortunately, it's one of those things that's out of our hands. And hopefully, once, as Cav says, once they're boxed up and ready, we can get them over as soon as possible. But
yeah, it's one of those things as well that it's had an impact on costs for a lot of people too, with the price of shipping a container from China to the UK probably going up tenfold, and hopefully that might stabilise it next year, or certainly once the Christmas rush is out of the way. So yeah, fingers crossed on that. But now the next thing is the MGRs, the HAAs. It's a massive project, isn't it, that one?
It's a huge project, yeah. It's had a lot of work over the last sort of year and a half or so, researching that and getting all the CADs done and whatever. Massive project, trying to cover all the variations and whatever. So yeah, we're pretty pleased with what we've done there so far.
Now you've carried the brunt of that work, probably, Cav, in terms of the CAD design.
Yeah.
So how did that go? Any particular sort of like frustrations along the way?
It is a very complex shape, but we had the benefit of sort of crawling over several of them in real life and taking crucial measurements, that kind of thing. We were fortunate to get sort of works drawings and whatever to work from as well, which was good. At the end of the day, all you can do is get it as close as possible, and that's our aim throughout this whole thing, is to produce wagons and rolling stock that are within millimeters to scale of what the real ones are. We're not taking any compromise on these things. So that's the ethos we've got, and I think we sort of got there with that HA, I have to say.
Yeah. Okay, and within the wagons coming at launch, you've got quite a variety of different versions there at that point as well, haven't you?
Yeah, we've got the later rebuilt one. We've also got the original version in the pipeline as well, which has not been announced just yet. We've got the CDAs, the HDAs with the different brake gear and whatnot. Very, very, very good range of wagons there. We're probably the only one we've not got is the rebodied sort of MCA or whatever it is, the one with the square body. That's the only one we've not really done. The rest of them, they're on the drawing board. So
yeah. Okay, I mean, from the images you've shown so far, the detail looks absolutely superb on them. So look forward to seeing those. Now, I suppose that's going to be getting into next year by we see those, is it?
Well, they're currently in production, but we have seen some delays due to COVID. So we'll have more of an update over the next few weeks. But I think it's probably looking like probably first quarter next year.
The other thing that you've got on the go as well, I'm not sure where it is. I lose track these days, particularly with big bogey hopper wagons. So obviously you've got your barn aggregate wagons as well in progress. So where are they sitting at the moment?
Well, the tooling has been completed, and we are expecting the first samples later this month. So that's where that is. So to be honest with you, we've seen a few photos from the factory of bits and bobs, and it's looking pretty good. So
yeah,
I'm really excited about it.
It's a wagon that I'm very much looking forward to. It's got a lot of presence. It's got lots of detail. It's not shy on pipe work and actuators and everything in the world on it that just gives it that sense of a sort of refined model, and it's going to be superb. There's no holds barred on that one, really.
Yeah. Now, one thing that struck me with the BBAs from last year was the weight. So is that something that you're going to carry onwards with other wagon projects, something that's obviously got a bit of weight and mass to it that keeps it nice and stable?
Yes, it is. I mean, we'll tell you a funny story on that. Cav obviously works out the scale weight, and we did that for our TEA. And unfortunately, the factory, I don't think, quite got it right, and it turned up and it was the same weight as a locomotive. And
it actually, because I'd calculated the weight of the real one and scaled it down by volume, and we actually did produce the weight of a fully loaded TEA, and it was it was horrendous. It was very heavy indeed.
I've got all sorts of maths buzzing around in my mind at the moment of 100-ton tank wagon. First of all, you divide by 676.2, and you think, oh no.
Yeah. Oh, it was horrendous. It was like pulling a locomotive. If you sort of pick up a Hornby 50, a Hornby sort of 60 or something, that was about the weight of the TEA on the first sample.
Yeah. So to answer your question, yes. I mean, we want our wagons to, have a decent weight to them, so then they run better, and obviously it gives them a presence as well, that you pick them up out of the box and you think, oh, that's got a nice feel to them.
Yeah, it is that value for money quality element to it as well. So I've been lucky enough to take a good close-up look at the TEAs from you. So thank you very much from that. Now, I mean, obviously, it's worth explaining to people that not all TEAs are the same, are they?
No, they're not.
No, you'd be surprised how different they are.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously we've seen sort of like early variants. I mean, say the type that Bachmann have done for years. Then we've had other more modern ones as well. So tell me a little bit about the origins of your TEA wagon.
Well, those particular TEA wagons were built by Standard Wagon, and they've got the continuous soul bar, which, as far as we're aware, nobody has modelled that type of design before. And they were built in the mid to late 80s and still running today. So it's very good because they were built for Total in the 80s, and they're still now running today, which is good because they can be run with the Bachmann one, or they can be run with the Excellent Revolution model, which is still running today. So hopefully that will give something for those that want to run, petroleum trains throughout the past, 30 years.
Now, I do like the weight and feel of that wagon too, but an area where you're actually distinguishing yourself, I suppose, in a little bit. Moving into obviously the weather defects that you've actually got. Now, first of all, when you look at this, you think, yeah, it's a brown wagon, but there are many shades of brown to this, aren't there?
Yes, there are. What we were trying to achieve was a sort of, I suppose, we wanted to innovate and try something different and to give customers a different type of factory weathering, something that we felt was prototypical, and that also the factory could, recreate under factory conditions. And so we wanted to try different processes to give the different textures, colours, and we're sorry it's taken longer than we'd planned or hoped, but we've been working closely with the factory to get something that we feel is very good for straight out of the box.
Yeah, it's quite a different weathering effect than we've seen from anybody else. And taking it to sort of obviously the next stage, it's a bit extreme. Obviously, by the time we get to the barrier wagons, I mean, these are really shoddy, aren't they? I mean, the state of these. But again, I mean, that's quite a radical weathering effect that you've actually put onto these.
Yeah, we wanted to try and recreate, the prototype as best we could. And that's how the barrier wagons are. Well, certainly the two that we've...
Yeah. Now, it's a very harsh effect between sort of obviously the cleaner barrel and obviously the scratched out dirty bits. What I'd say, I mean, as somebody who actually enjoys doing his own weathering, is that this is an excellent base to then start working onwards from, sort of like toning it back a little bit or blending it and getting sort of like road dirt sort of like more evenly spread around it. But I actually think it's a great starting point for some very different projects, that one.
Yeah, I would agree absolutely, Andy, with that. That's kind of what we're looking at, really. We're going to try and get the factory to do a little bit more on the airbrushing side of it. For the final ones, it's not going to quite be as harsh as that. It'll be the blower will be a bit more dense and sort of blend it in a little bit more. But yeah, it's a great base for anyone to then go in and and really go to town if they want to. But it's giving that level of sort of an advanced weathered finish to the people that haven't quite got that that skill to do that for themselves straight out of the box. So anybody can get a really good sort of realistic, effective looking weathering without having to necessarily have the skill to do it. So
okay, and now winding the clock back a little bit, that you brought us the lovely PGAs, sort of like going back 2-3 years. I suppose it is now. Time flies. But you're putting those through the shrink rate at the moment, aren't you?
Yes, we are, which Cav's very happy about.
Yeah, I'm very happy about it. Yeah, well, as you know, our model engaged, so I've been very keen from the very start of Cavalex to get everything in 2mm as well as 4mm, because I know how much the 2mm guys have to sort of put up with not having quite the same level of sort of options for buying stock as the 4mm guys do. And our ethos was always, yeah, let's do everything in 4mm and then let's do it all in 2mm as well. And it's getting that support from the 2mm guys that's that's the sort of how to break into it. You've got to get those guys to support you, and I think we've got to a point now where we've become sort of well known enough that the people are now giving us a chance in 2 mil, which didn't necessarily do at the beginning.
Yeah, that must be really frustrating for you, Cav, as a 2 mil modeler.
Oh yeah,
battling it out with Alex, obviously as a 4 mil modeler, and sitting down and looking at the economics of it all. Because I mean, being honest, 4 mil sells a lot more quantity wise than 2 mil. It's a fact. So you've got a battle there, Cav. Obviously, sort of like keep saying, obviously, want to do it in 2 mil.
Absolutely, yeah. I would absolutely agree with that, Andy. And that's the the crux of it, is that you've got to get balance those finances and get it as a viable project, and you've got to get people behind you. And we've been fortunate enough on this one to have Rails of Sheffield behind it and say, we believe in your products, we believe in what you're trying to do, and we're happy to sort of support you on the 2 mil PGA as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a lot of retailers that actually said to me this over the last year, they've been crying out for N-Gage stock as much as they can get hold of, that they can actually shift to people, because people have been doing a lot of smaller projects at home over the last year, 18 months. And strangely, they've not been seeing enough product to satisfy the market. So maybe, obviously, as where you're looking now at N-Gage, maybe there's a bigger market into the future now. All those N-Gages are built layouts over the last year.
We do hope so. I mean, as Cav said, from day one, we set out to release everything we do in 00 in N-Gage, as long as there's the support and demand.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense, because if we've done the research and the majority of the design work, it makes sense to to pass that on to the N-Gage modelers as well.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, we've touched on finances and economics there a little bit, and now for the big one, certainly in terms of sort of like your commitment and investment to it, the Class 56. I mean, knowing Alex from sort of obviously sort of like a good few years ago, we know that was where it was going to end up. This has all been a dress rehearsal so that Alex gets his grids anyway. So that, again, that's a mammoth project. And obviously the variations that you're building into that. And we see obviously Bachmann sort of like updating their Class 47 and talking about £1 million tooling project for it. So, I mean, the audience shouldn't be under any misapprehensions. This is a big investment that you're actually going for a big style now. It
is. Well, I think we touched on last time we spoke. It has always been a goal of ours and a plan to release a loco once the time was right and we felt we were at the right stage. And we feel we're there now. Obviously, you quite rightly say I need quite a few of them, so it made sense to do that one. But we wanted to show that we can, as it were, move our detail from the wagons into a loco. And as somebody that loves 56s, to say that Cav has achieved that is understatement of the year. It's stunning. And Cav spent a lot of time and effort, and it certainly has paid off, as I'm sure you can see from the renders.
Yeah, it's no small project in the 56. There's a lot of really awkward shapes on it. There's a lot of variations in detail. Trying to build things into the project where we can model any 56 with the alternate cabs and all that kind of thing as well is another thing. It's needed thought at every stage in the process, and this has been on the on the drawing board now for a couple of years, hasn't it, Alex? This project, and it's no easy one, definitely. But I think what we've come out with at the end of it is something that's going to be sort of groundbreaking in the market, I think. Okay,
that's an interesting thing at the moment that we see almost as though a bit of a race, the space race of sort of like how good additional features and functions can actually be bringing more to it rather than just making an accurate loco model. So again, what are you looking at as to innovative features that you can bring us with it?
Cool. Do we want to say too much of this?
Yeah, we can go to the features.
I mean, certainly obviously we've seen the roof fans by, you know, on Bachmann's retooled 47, which looks very nice indeed. We're having the roof fans that are separately driven as well. That's something that we've had in ours, and ours will actually be as per the prototype, in that they will work, you know, when they need to work, rather than just coming on randomly.
Yeah, and the way they work as well, it won't be a fixed on or off speed. It'll spool up slowly like it's winding up, and then when it turns off, it'll actually simulate inertia as they wind down and that kind of thing as well, which has not been done before. But that's something we've wanted to have on this from day one, really. You know, it's, you know, other features on the loco are, you know, we've got removable roof panels to swap out chips and whatever, so you're not going to take it off the track or that kind of thing. So it's they're all up there.
Yeah, I tell you, that is a feature that I've seen elsewhere, and I do appreciate. I don't mind taking something apart. It's a lot easier just to flip a roof panel off and make a change there than fighting with it. Because I had something else on the desk today that I've had a bit of a fight to get inside this steam loco and get all the bits sorted out on it. So yeah, that brings me another question then. I mean, you're looking at very much sort of like 1970s onwards, or 1980s onwards. Yeah, we're going to do anything for a bit earlier?
Well, I mean, Cav and I have spoken about this a lot, and we have been asked that quite a few times, and we would definitely be interested in looking at something, you know, a bit earlier. But as you know, Cav and I model the 80s, 90s, so we would need quite a bit of help if we were going to venture a bit, you know, earlier, so to speak.
Okay. Why I'm going off down that track is the quality feel of your wagons. I'd like to see it sort of maybe in some earlier ones. So that's me crossing my fingers. Sort of like something there. So yeah.
No, I'm quite happy. I'm quite happy to do something earlier. Absolutely. It's just obviously knowing what the demand would be for that, and what it's knowing your audience at the end of the day. And you know, as you know, me and Alex, we do 80s, 90s up to present day and whatever. Stuff back in the 60s and what is a little bit outside of our, you know, sphere of expertise, I guess. But you know, if there was a demand for it, absolutely, you know, we've got no issue doing that.
No, absolutely. I mean, we're not, although Cav and I model the 80s and 90s, you know, if people feel that there's something they'd like us to produce, and there's the support for it, you know, it doesn't have to be 80s, 90s or modern day. You know, if they can help us to bring it to market, then absolutely, we'd certainly look at that, no doubt about it.
Well, yeah, because at the end of the day, the technical side of it is, you know, if we're doing something from the 80s, 90s, present day or whatever, we've still got to do the research. We've still got to get the drawings. We've still got to, you know, draw that up as a scale model and you know, factor in tolerances and whatever. So it's no different doing something from the 60s as it is from, you know, from the 80s. You know, we're still subject to the drawings we can get hold of and the photos we can get hold of and the, you know, visiting the real wagons and whatnot. So, you know, it's the same scenario. It's just we don't know them. That's all. We don't know what the demand would be for them. That's the crux of it. But if, you know, if someone came along and said, look, well, there'll be a demand for this, and we're interested in sort of commissioning that as a model, absolutely, we'll be all over that.
I'll better leave that one there then for the time being before I dig a hole. But you've obviously got an awful lot on the go at the moment. I mean, there's this insatiable sort of like lust from people for more announcements, more news and so on. So I suppose I've got to ask the question, when should people be keeping an eye on Cavalex for any more announcements?
I think, to be honest with you, probably next year before we announce anything else. We want to just.
Why is that? Just so that nobody else can slip it in their catalogue at the last minute.
Indeed.
Yeah, well, what can you say? Yeah, I mean, we just obviously we're pleased that we've now got our first 3 wagons out, and we've got the TEAs, which are not going to be too far away, the HAA, and then the BARD, and then we've got some other projects that you know, at various stages of the process going on behind the scenes, which people need to just keep an eye out for when they'll know more.
Okay,
Sorry, we can't give you more info than that.
No, I wasn't expecting it really, but I can try, can't you? So, no, I just want to say thank you both very much for the update. There's some really interesting nuggets in there. But there is one more thing, as like Columbo used to say, and that actually relates to the Class 56, doesn't it? So another little bit of news for us, haven't you?
Yes, we have. We've been lucky enough to be talking to the Class 56 group, and we've recently started collaboration with them, where they've kindly allowed us access to their locos, and we're arranging sound recording and access to the locos, and we are looking to produce something for them. So we'll be giving some more info on that shortly.
Very good. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, I just want to say thank you very much indeed for the update. We'll catch up again in a few months, and obviously see as things are going right. Fingers crossed with everything fitting into containers from China. That's the next thing for us all. And yeah, take care of yourselves, and hopefully we'll speak soon.
Yeah, and Andy, if we can just say thank you to everyone that has supported us so far with all our projects, and we really appreciate it, and we're enjoying the products, and hopefully they are too.